Right, my beloved Madridistas, welcome back to Madrid, welcome back to the channel. Okay, this is do or die. We need to talk about the match tomorrow because this is really do or die. This is it. There's no margin for error. An absolutely critical match in Lisbon, and I want to give you guys my thoughts. Now, you guys know that typically I'm quite cautious and kind of conservative in my expectations, but I have a feeling that this is going to be very, very different than what we saw just a 2-3 weeks ago. I think this is going to be very, very different, and I'm going to give you guys the 5 reasons why I think this will look different, and I think that Madrid will get past Benfica, I think, fairly comfortably. So I want to give you guys my views on that. Now, listen, before we do that, there are a couple of things I want to address that you guys, have mentioned in the comment section. One of the things that I get a lot is, how come we play better football without Kylian and without Jude? And it's a question that popped up in the comment section a lot, and I want to address it because it's a really good question, but I think I know the answer. The other night we played, I thought, a much better game than what we're kind of used to seeing. I think the first half we didn't play great football, but we were very, very efficient in front of goal, which is great. And then in the second half, we didn't score as much, but I thought we played better football. It was quite fluid. The ball circulation was super fast, very vertical. Our counterattacks looked coordinated. It looked like the team kind of knew what they were doing. You just had a sense that our collective play was much better. So how can it be that we play better football without Kylian and Jude? Because whether you like them or not, these are two of the best players in the world, and I think technically speaking, none of us can deny that. I mean, these guys are absolutely world class. So how can it be that we play better football when they're not around? And I think that the short answer is very simple, because neither Jude nor Kylian are one-touch players. They're not 1 to 2 touch players. They're just not. When Jude or Kylian receives the ball, they have a tendency to control it, bring it down, raise their head, dribble around 1 or 2 players, and then eventually make a pass and kind of continue the play. But they're not, and this applies to both Jude and Kylian, but they're not the type of players that move the ball with 1 touch or 2 touches. They don't. They tend to control the ball and slow things down. So, because Kylian is a very, very good finisher in the box, and he's proven that all year. He's an absolute killer in the box. But if Kylian receives the ball outside of the box, it's not going to be 1 or 2 touches, okay? He's going to bring it down, and he's going to want to dribble past people, and it just kind of slows everything down. So I think what we saw the other night was just faster ball circulation. Just everything looked faster. The ball spent less time in the feet of every individual player. I mean, that's a statistic I'd love to see. But I think the short answer is that these are not 1 to 2 touch players. So when they're not there, I think we just play quicker football. Just the ball circulates faster. The other thing that I wanted to address, and I've had a lot of messages from friends of mine, is that the press here, everybody's going crazy now about the penalties. So you get all the Barca media and all the, they're all paid, as you know, to say, oh my goodness, the refs are helping Real Madrid. But this is just, the level of nonsense is insane. Both of those penalties were clear penalties. But what's funny about this is that, after I did my post-match analysis the other night, my uncle and I sort of, got dinner together, and we sat down and we actually watched the match again. And this time we heard the commentary on Spanish TV, on Movistar, which, as you know, the rights are totally controlled by Rores. I mean, everybody in there is just a Barca sycophant. And they only showed 1 frame of the penalty. They only showed 1 frame where there doesn't appear to be contact. But if you show the other frames, you can clearly see that they swipe Vini's feet, and it's a very clear penalty. It was a very mistimed tackle, and it was just an obvious penalty. But they only show the frame where there doesn't seem to be contact, and the commentators are going, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, ooh, this doesn't look like a penalty to me. But they only showed 1 frame, and this is the kind of narratives, this is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with living here. It's just unbelievable. Everything is designed to go against Real Madrid. So if anybody tries to give you crap about the penalties in Real Madrid and all that, just ask them what their opinion is about the Lamine Yamal penalty against Rayo Vallecano, where not only was it not a penalty, but it was Lamine that committed the foul. It was the most ridiculous penalty ever awarded. I mean, one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. And conveniently, the VAR wasn't working. See, the VAR wasn't working for those 10 minutes when the penalty on Lamine, they can't check the VAR because it's not working. But of course, the ref awarded the penalty, and Barca walked away from that match with a point that they didn't deserve, that was completely gifted by the ref. So if they want to discuss Vini's penalties, which were penalties, just bring up the issue of Lamine Yamal and how many non-penalties they get. But anyway, that's the kind of nonsense that we have to deal with here. So just try to ignore it. It's just nonsense. Okay, let's get back to the Benfica match, which is just absolutely massive. Now, I think, obviously it's an advantage having the second leg at home, but I just have a feeling that things are going to look very, very different this time around. Okay, we all know what happened in the last match. It was high drama, and we just got slaughtered. Benfica could have scored a million goals. I think it's going to look different for 5 key reasons. Okay, reason number 1, Rudiger is back. And this makes an absolutely massive difference. Rudiger, okay, he's no spring chicken. He's not a young player, but he does have a lot of experience. He's very strong. He's very good in the air. His presence makes a massive difference. Asensio really struggled the last time we played Benfica. But this time we're going to have Rudiger there, and I think that his physical presence, his experience is going to make a material difference. And I think Rudiger coming back is just extremely important for our defensive composure. I think that is one factor that is going to be very, very key. The second thing, Trent adds a whole new dimension to our play, and we talked about it extensively in my post-match analysis, the other night. And Trent, his ability, his long passing, his ability to pick out a run and to put the ball exactly where it needs to go, because the precision of these long passes is very, very impressive. I mean, it is not easy to send a ball 50 meters to exactly to where you want it to go, especially if the player is making a run and he's in stride. But I think that Trent adds a huge dimension to our play, because now we're going to be able to combine short. We have another resource to try long passes, and a lot of the switches of play were very, very effective. He's a very astute player. I think he's a very intelligent player. All of the passes that he picked out in the switches of play the other night, I thought were very, very intelligent. It was the right thing to do at that moment. And I think he just brought another dimension to our play. And I think that'll be very dangerous, especially with Kylian back making runs. We know that, Kylian is incredibly quick and very experienced. He knows how to make these runs. He knows how to find space. And if Trent and Huijsen and our pivot, if they lift their heads and look for that run, I think we can be very dangerous. So I think the addition of Trent to the right back position, I think, is going to be fantastic in terms of contributing to our attack with those long passes. Okay, reason number 3. I don't think we're going to play a 4-3-3. Okay, when we got slaughtered, in Lisbon last time, we were playing a 4-3-3. Mastantuono was disastrous on the right. I mean, he just drove me crazy. I don't think that we're going to do that this time. I think that this time we're going to play a 4-4-2 with a diamond, which is what we did in the last match, with Arda Güler as a number 10, Kama on the left, Fede on the right, Tchouaméni as the holding pivot. I think that we're going to see a 4-4-2 with Vini and Kylian up front, which gives them a lot of space. They're going to be on the wings, but they can drift to the middle and they can alternate. I think that having that extra body in the middle of the pitch is going to make a massive difference, especially to escape the press and in our transition play. So I think we're going to see a different formation. I think a formation that gives us a lot more muscle in the middle of the pitch. I think it'll help us control possession a lot more. It'll help us come out of the back a lot more. I think it'll be, I think, better in terms of us pressing them, in terms of recovering balls. So we're not going to see the kind of 4-3-3, which I think leaves our midfield a little bit hollow. I think the 4-4-2 is what we're going to see. I'm really hoping that that's the case, because I think we have a lot more balance in our play when we do that. Okay, reason number 4. I think Vini's in good form. Okay, Vini, the fact that we didn't play Copa del Rey, he had a whole week to rest, played the other night, but I think that Vini, and I don't know if it's just freshness because he got rest, or I don't know what it is, but he did look a lot better to me the other night. He was making really good runs on the left. He looked very explosive. He looked quick. He did kind of fade a little, he fizzled out a little bit towards the end of the match. You could tell that there was an element of fatigue, but Vini looks to be in good form to me, and that makes a huge difference, because Vini is the kind of player that only needs 1 or 2 things to go his way. He showed us the other night. He's a nightmare for defenders. Whether you love, Vini or hate him, whatever, and I know that he has a lot of issues in terms of his conduct and distractions and all this nonsense. I get it, and I've been very critical of that, but we do have to admit that Vini is an incredibly dangerous player. He wreaks havoc, and he's an absolute nightmare for defenses. And the other night, I found him in particularly good form. He looked really fresh and really quick to me, and I think having Vini in form, I think, is going to make a really big difference as well. Okay, number 5, the stakes are higher. The stakes are higher, and Real Madrid is a team that understands. Look, if you look at the Champions League historically, Real Madrid is a team that kind of knows when to suffer, knows when to tighten up, like knows when, we understand the context of different matches, and the higher the stakes, typically the better we play. It's a very strange phenomenon. It doesn't always work, of course. I mean, Arsenal destroyed us, and yes, these things happen. But generally speaking, Real Madrid is a team that steps up. The higher the stakes, the better we play. And there is a legacy in this tournament that the higher the stakes, the better we tend to play. We tend to be more concentrated, more focused. We play with greater intensity and consistency. And I think that the players are very aware of this. So I do not think that this match will look anything like the one we saw in Lisbon a few weeks ago. I think this is going to look very different. And I'm actually quite positive, which is unusual for me because I tend to be quite cautious about stuff like this. But I think we're going to take Benfica, and I think we're going to get past them with relative ease. I know that's a controversial thing to say, and we'll see if I'm wrong. I might be, but those are my thoughts. Now, just one more thing that I want to mention is I am definitely going to be doing a watch-along tomorrow night for the away match. The return leg, of course, I'll be at the Bernabeu, but tomorrow I am going to do a watch-along. My tech guy is going to be with me. I promise I'll do a better job of answering the super chats. Last time I was it was the first time I did it, so I was didn't know where to put my eyes, but this time I know what to do, so I'll do a better job of answering the super chats and a lot of the other comments that come my way. So anyway, those are my thoughts ahead of the Benfica match. Absolutely massive, but I think we can do this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and of course, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you during the watch along tomorrow and the post-match analysis that I'll do after the match. All right, thanks for joining me. Let me know your thoughts. I love you guys, and as always, a Madrid.